Hello, I'm so glad you're joining us today. I'm Linda Harvey, and on behalf of Protect Ohio Children and Mission America, I'm here to bring you an overview of a very disturbing, comprehensive sexuality education curriculum being used in many places in the country and in Ohio. And that curriculum is called Get Real. They claim to be abstinence focused, but as you will quickly see, that is a grave deception. So let me just start sharing my slides with you. Get Real is sexually high risk for adolescents, and most parents and most people that get the details on this curriculum will quickly see that it is totally inappropriate for any level of middle school or high schooler. What Get Real, the folks say about themselves is they proudly say that they were developed by Planned Parenthood out of Massachusetts, and that they are framed with the concepts of social emotional learning. And they are endorsed by, this curriculum is endorsed by CASEL, the Collaborative for Academic, Social, and Emotional Learning, which is an organization that sets many of the standards for SEL throughout the country. So when you start to see a lot of a school going very deep into SEL, they're probably going to use something like what you're about to see, Get Real, which is recommended, or another comprehensive sexuality education program. And abstinence, true abstinence teaching is going to be ushered out the door very quickly. And the other thing is that this is very LGBTQ friendly by design. They revised it a number of years ago to make sure they were inclusive. And what you're going to see is it's inclusive of many of the very gravely high risk behaviors that are common among the male to male sexual community and the homosexual and transgender community. So let's have the next slide then. And so it is not abstinence-based. They talk about abstinence. Oh, they mention it, sure. But this is right from what they say. This is how they approach it, that abstinence from sex is the most effective way to avoid STIs and unintended pregnancy. But adolescents require a comprehensive, in their view, understanding of sexual health, sexuality, and all the explicit details they're going to give you, and protection methods, which they will need when they become sexually active. The assumption is that adolescents will soon become sexually active. And they teach a lot about role-playing scenarios. This goes right into one of the SEL assessment tools and measurement dimensions that is used in social emotional learning, that is relationship skills and what they call responsible decision making. Well, they say, you need to be able to negotiate a sexual relationship, just like all relationships. Let's have the next slide then. So I'm going to get right into this, and I apologize for the explicit nature of this. The 7th grade Get Real curriculum, and this is from the teacher's manual, and this was analyzed by the national group Protect Child Health Coalition. They apparently have kids go through cards of certain sexual behaviors. They have the kids have very, very explicit behaviors for each card, and then they sort these cards according to risk. So here they say, go through the cards and give a definition for each behavior. Be sure to include clear definitions for oral, vaginal, and anal intercourse. 7th grade. Then they go through and in their analysis of what they teach the kids about the level of risk, that anal sex with a condom has some risk. There is no responsible public health professional in the country that would tell you that there is only some risk of any kind of anal sex with or without a condom. This is totally inappropriate. And oral sex, these are very explicit, detailed sexual behaviors that have no place with our students at all. They claim these comprehensive sexuality education curricula claim to be medically accurate. When you are promoting something as moderate in risk, that is in reality high risk medically, you are not responsible, and you are not doing the best thing you can do for children. So the other one is having the definitions. Having oral intercourse is mouth to vulva or mouth to penis sex, or having anal intercourse is penis to anus sex. I mean, really, 7th grade? Let's have the next slide then. It also promotes all the range of LGBTQ identities and behaviors. They have one section that says identify myths and facts surrounding sexual orientation. Well, of course, it would be a myth to disapprove of any of this. They want kids to discuss LGBTQ issues respectfully. And they have definitions on all of the current lexicon of all of the homosexuality, the LGBTQ behaviors and identities. Next slide, please. Then, okay, 7th grade, detailed skills about how to use a condom. Discuss with the partner the decision to have sex. Discuss protection methods with your partner. And of course, that's same-sex partner or opposite-sex partner. Check the expiration date on the condom. Check the package of the condom for holes, tears, etc. Carefully open the condom package. And they're teaching the children along the way to do this. In 7th grade, they will not be using an anatomically correct plastic model of male genitalia, but by high school, they do. But they will be handling condoms. And notice here that they say the penis is erect. I mean, this is 7th grade. This is explicit detail that does not need to be included, and certainly not in an abstinence curriculum. The takeaway for kids, and you can read all the rest of this, the takeaway for kids is that you can do this. You can manage this. This is, people do this, and this is normal. They're normalizing all of this. Next slide, please. It also promotes the transgender ideology by giving all of the current lexicon of the LGBTQ advocacy movement. And this is advocacy, folks, of this. This is not neutral. This is treating all of this respectfully, as if anyone can ever actually change sex, which they cannot do. And they go through all of these definitions, including the medically inaccurate, biologically inaccurate phrase, sex assigned at birth. Sex is never assigned at birth. Sex is revealed at birth. Next slide, please. And then one of the things they do, and this is part of the role playing that they will be doing for relationship skills to satisfy the social emotional learning condition and that standard in social emotional learning, so that these two are aligned together, the sexuality teaching and the SEL. They have role-playing scenarios. So they will give children two children, they're going to be supposedly partners or potential partners, and negotiating skills. They give them a scenario. So I'm going to move now to the 8th grade. An 8th grade scenario, you got pretty buzzed at a party and were having lots of fun. You'd heard a lot about oral sex, but had never had it before. When the opportunity presented itself at the party, you decided you were having so much fun. Why not? You figured that it wasn't really sex and everyone was wasted and hooking up. Okay, so I imagine that they're going to advise people, the children assigned this role play, to not go ahead. However, look at what you've just presented as a typical scenario for an 8th grader. This is, again, corruption of children. And then we have the same-sex scenarios. Will and Todd have been seeing each other for the past year. Will just found out that his family is planning on moving before he enters high school. They both enjoy the sexual part of their relationship. 8th grade, same-sex sexual habits and behaviors being endorsed and normalized. Let's have the next slide then. And then, okay, SEL is linked throughout here, social emotional learning. Again, we know that SEL is pretty much amateur psychology and a brainwashing technique to establish within the minds of kids that normal is all of the progressive agendas that we see today. Unfortunately, that's the typical SEL program once you dig into it. So Get Real is aligned with SEL, and the best way to stay safe from sexually transmitted infections is by using, again, these are two of the standards of the 5 major standards in SEL: responsible decision-making and relationship skills. Yet, have you seen anything that aligns with what we would think of as responsible decision-making? I have not, and this is, it's a lie. And relationship skills are not children having sex in middle school and negotiating how they're going to use a condom. That's what they want kids to take away from this. So let's have the next slide then. So the Protect Child Health Coalition has an analysis, 15 harmful elements of comprehensive sex education, and you can find that at stopcse.org. But the 7th grade curriculum of Get Real was analyzed by people at PCHC. It has 14 out of the 15 harmful elements. The 8th grade and high school have 15 out of the 15. I'll just quickly run those down, for you, just the headings. You can look at it more, but one of the first harmful element is sexualizing children, and again, normalizing and desensitizing children to these very intimate adult sexual behaviors, teaching children to consent to sex, normalizing anal and oral sex, promoting homosexual or bisexual behavior, promoting sexual pleasure. It's not just about reproductive anatomy, it's about the details of sexual pleasure, promoting solo or mutual masturbation, promoting condom use in inappropriate ways, promoting early sexual autonomy apart from parents, failing to establish abstinence as the expected standard. And that's absolutely true, even though they claim this in Get Real. Fails to establish abstinence, promoting transgender ideology, promoting contraception and abortion to children, promoting peer-to-peer sex ed or sexual rights advocacy, undermining traditional values and beliefs, undermining parents or parental rights, and refers children to harmful resources at the end, like Planned Parenthood, like all the pro-LGBTQ groups. So that's my overview. I want people to understand that this Get Real curriculum is used in many places throughout the country. It's used throughout Ohio, even though the school districts using it are claiming, because of the Ohio Department of Education audit, that they are abstinence focused. This is not abstinence focused. They cannot make a valid claim to that. This particular Get Real curriculum is used right now in 12 middle schools in Columbus City Schools. And it should be terrifying to parents. So thank you very much for listening today.